Hi guys.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the podcast. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling excited. Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready to have this conversation?
I'd like to think so.
Okay.
Mm.
How are you feeling today?
I think a bit nervous. I think this is a heavy topic to talk about, but at least we are finally on the podcast.
Okay. So. For those who don't know, these are my siblings. I'm so excited to finally have the both of you on together. He's been on the podcast before. You have not. Yeah, I'm just excited to have both of you together. Do you want to say your name before we begin?
I'm Sophia.
I'm Sylvanus.
Okay, so let's get into it. When did you realize that this person was toxic? Do you have any specific instances you can share?
I think it wasn't any one thing they did. I think it was a thing of in hindsight, because there was a bunch of questionable behaviors and things they did, but then looking back at them in hindsight, you're like, if that is actually okay. Because for example, their relationship with their romantic partners was very strange to me. I'd witnessed like a lot of love bombing. There was a whole period of, always on the phone with this person, always sending them expensive gifts, taking them places. And then all of a sudden, silence, they cut the person off, not talking to them at all. And initially, I'd be like, okay, maybe things just ended badly. But it kept happening. Every new partner, that's how things would go. And one day I was like, but what's the common factor here? So it was just small things like that would just, in hindsight, I was like, no.
What about you?
Beyond the love bombing and constantly being on the phone that she mentioned, they would do this thing where they'd call those people clingy all the time. Clingy, oh, person X is so clingy
And crazy.
They're obsessed with me. And later on, maybe you'd get to have a conversation with this person X, and you realize that wasn't true at all. Yeah.
I think it's definitely the same for me. It was definitely in hindsight because we grew up with this person. And I think when we were young, we didn't have the vocabulary to understand what was going on. But then as you're growing older, you realize that some behaviors were very questionable. So just what the two of you have said. But I think also they would do this thing where they would pick and drop friends pretty fast. And they always looked for like influential people, people who would give them something or make them look good in a certain way. And the minute you don't do that for them, you're dropped. So for me, that was very bizarre. So the follow-up question is, how did this realization change the relationship you had with them?
The realization that they're toxic.
Yeah.
Do you want to go fast?
Okay then. It made it so difficult to actually just be in the same space. Because the feeling is, whether or not you're showing me these behaviors, this is how you act. Like, this is you. So absolutely, I don't know how to put it, but it was just a big no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I was very close to this person. So
Out of all of us, I think, yeah, you are very close.
So just realizing that their actions and their behaviors were not aligning with my values, and that they'd portray themselves a certain way around me, compared to around other people, or compared to the things I'd hear from other people. I distanced myself slowly, but then eventually all at once.
Yeah. I think it was the same for me. It was a shocking realization, I think, when you've known somebody for a long period of time and you've grown up with them. It's like you're almost trying to convince yourself that this is not real. This person can't be this way. Maybe I'm not giving them enough chances. Maybe I'm not understanding them.
Grace.
Exactly. Until you realize, like, no, this is not okay, and you need to do something about it. So I definitely also distanced myself. And I guess now I can say there is no relationship. I guess eventually, now there's no relationship. So yeah, that's what changed. Who's next?
I guess I'll go next. What personal experience did you have with this person? Would you like to start?
A personal toxic experience, or like a personal...
No, but I think we can just start by the two of us, especially, were very close to this, because we were closer in age to them than you. So we'd hang out a lot and like constantly be in each other's spaces, constantly talking. We had like so many, anywhere where we could have a group chat, we had a group chat. So we were constantly in each other's spaces and always hanging out, doing things together. We had a lot of common interests.
Yeah. Which is what now made it difficult when things started going south. Yeah. We were very intimately
our
involved.
lives were very interwoven, I think. Now, in terms of personal toxic relationships, you can take the lead.
For me, the one incident I think that for me like completely threw me off was when I had, we were hanging out like we usually do, and it was like us and a group of other people, so we were not alone. But I had an incident with this person where they groped me inappropriately and also tried to kiss me as well. And that completely threw me off, because this is someone who's like a sibling to me, And it was, of course, somebody touching you or treating you in a certain way it's wrong, like it's completely inappropriate. So that for me is the incident that completely stands out. And then after that, it was a constant thing of they knew what they did. And because I got so shocked and I got so scared, I distanced myself, but they constantly were rubbing it in my face and making it seem like they'd always tell me, oh, you're so cold these days. You're so unkind to me. Why are you treating me this way? And I constantly thought that I was the problem. I'd be like, what's happening with me? Like, why am I being so cold? Because like before I was comfortable even like hugging them, sitting with them. Now I couldn't do that anymore. Anytime they enter the room, I'm out. I don't want to be in the same space as him. So that's the one that like really, really stands out to me. And I think that's when the relationship really started taking a shift for me. Yeah. Have I ever told you about this?
I knew.
Oh, okay.
What?
Oh, yeah, I knew.
How?
Context, subtext. I listen a lot. I listen a lot. I spend a lot of time listening.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What
about me? Well, like in general, they had this, everybody likes novelty, everybody likes being the first to know things, but they had this feeling of power when they had information and they knew or they felt that you didn't know what they knew. No matter how sensitive the information was, I don't know how much I can say about there was a time, unfortunately, somebody close to all three of us had passed away. I was doing something, and like the people who are around at that time were like, how do we bring this up? How do we bring this up to him? Because, and then like you're discussing, but they came to me and they're like, oh, like, woe is me, pitiful, that vibe. Constantly sighing, clicking. I'm wondering what's wrong. So I'm like, okay, let me wait. Eventually, they'll speak. Then they tell me, oh, so-and-so has passed away. And before this point, maybe subconsciously, I just felt this person is a liar. And unfortunately for them, I didn't put it past them to lie about somebody's passing. So I just said, okay. And when they didn't get the reaction they wanted, they left. Then I think I spoke to her.
Yeah.
And I asked her, is this true? And she was shocked. And I remember everyone was very upset about it because of how insensitively the news was handled.
Yeah, to be clear, the problem was not that they told you that this person had passed away. It's the way they did it.
Presented it, yeah.
And just to give more context, you were in school at the time and you were doing classes, right? So that was not the right time to just come and tell you, like in the middle of a class, in the middle of the day, that somebody...
It was really something that could have waited.
Yeah, that somebody so close to us has passed away. That's something they could have waited and told you much later. And they knew better, right? But that's something they would constantly do. So, okay. Do you want to add on?
I think the thing with having a person who's toxic and having all these different experiences, I don't think I had any personal experience where this person was like abusive, or I think we had a very okay relationship. Everything about how our relationship fell apart was based on how he'd treat other people and all the other things he'd do. But personally, we had a great experiences. Nothing, it was great. There are times I'd be like, why am I the only person having a good time? I think there's I don't know how to say guilt, where you're like, okay, but so-and-so has experienced this, so like, it's like relief that it's not happened to me, but at the same time, like, why me? Why is it that I'm the one you've chosen to present this?
Nice.
Yeah. So I'd really question that and wonder about it.
Okay. But I think a lot of the reason why toxic and abusive people can get by is because they're not that way to everybody. So of course there are people who have great relationships with them and they've not seen this side of them, so it's easy for them to just get by and get away with a lot of it. Okay. Next.
What red flags can you recognize now in hindsight?
Wow.
I mean, I think we already mentioned.
That's true.
One,
the relationships. It was a cycle. Like there was a lot of, love bombing, like you said. They'll, constantly be praising them, talking to them all the time, gifting them, exactly. And then after a couple of months, it always used to be between 2 and 3 months, everything just goes downhill. Yeah. So now they don't want to talk to these people anymore. And then they start calling their partners clingy, crazy, obsessed, exactly. And then talking so badly about them and eventually like just completely discarding them. And that was like a constant cycle all the time. A new person, same thing. A new person, same thing. But I think another red flag for me was how they would treat other people. Because the two of us hung out with them a lot, we saw a lot of this. Like maybe we would be out
People
somewhere.
lesser than
Exactly. People that they
waiters.
looked as lesser than them. So like the watchmen, waiters,
cleaners.
people who are not citizens of this country, they talk to them very badly. Like to the point where there are times they would be insulting people and it just used to come out of nowhere. No, like
They were straight up having a good time and the next thing they're yelling and insulting someone.
it was crazy. Those are, I guess, the ones I can remember.
I can think. I remember one that really stuck out to me is their relationship with things. So, maybe somebody likes something, they'd really latch onto that thing and it would become like a tug of war for possession of it.
It used to be like intentional and like
Yes.
vindictive.
So childish.
Yeah.
And the moment that person's like, okay,
Have it.
like have it, they stop. They immediately stop. It was so odd.
Do you remember when I liked Greek yogurt and then
Yes,
I bought
that's
Greek yogurt
what I
in the
think
house?
about the most.
And they ate all the Greek yogurt.
Yes.
And then the minute I was like, okay, I'm done with this Greek yogurt, they stopped because
They were done
we
too.
started getting like extra Greek yogurt so that everybody can have some. But now they just didn't want to have any.
Yeah.
It's a matter of taking what's yours. You're right. Yeah.
Beyond that, they had this habit of everyone, right? Food has been made enough for everyone, but they're like, they want it all.
Yeah.
So, and you can really tell it wasn't a matter of I'm hungry. It's more a matter of I want it all, so I'm going to have it all, and no one else will have.
I think it was a lot of fighting for small power
Yes.
and provoking people, always pushing for a response from people. Because if they don't get the response they want, they'd move on very quickly. Very. But the minute they notice this is bothering you, they double down. That's the hill they'll die on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another big red flag for me was the amount of alcohol they would drink and how I'd say almost violent-ish they would become when they drink alcohol. Yeah, that was a huge red flag.
I think they were also very controlling, but it was subtle. They were so, it would be like, okay, we are going to this place. They want to do everything. If we go visit them, they don't want to leave your side. You're like, okay, I just want to go to that shop real quick. We must go together. I want to, and it's like, okay, I'm not a stranger in this place. I know what I'm doing. But they'd always, you couldn't be alone. If you have mutual friends, he'd want to know, like, what are you talking about? They want to be there in the friendship. We're like, okay, the three of us are meeting because we want to hang out, the three of us. No, they'll pop up from nowhere and pull up a chair and sit. And because I think, I think it was a matter of controlling the narrative, like what's being said about me.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
They were so controlling.
Yeah. I see that now. Okay. Can you go to the next one?
Yes.
Have you been able to leave or end this relationship?
Yes.
And if so, how? Yeah, I guess all of us have ended that relationship.
Yes.
For me, actually, I didn't do it directly. Sophia is the one who did it for me. Like I was not, I feel like ever since the incident I had, I actually became extremely afraid of this person. I couldn't I couldn't be around them. I couldn't have a conversation with them. I didn't feel safe anymore.
I remember.
So,
do you remember after your graduation party when you were going home, because we were not going together? I was going a different direction, and you were in the cab with them, and I was like, "Do you want me to come with you?"
to come with me. I really would panic a lot. So I think eventually when I told, because I didn't tell Sophia what happened immediately. I don't think I told you immediately.
You didn't, but
I didn't. I think I told you maybe like 1 year later.
Yeah, but on the day it happened, because we're in a club, I remember, and we had gone to the washroom, a bunch of us. And when we came back, Paulyne was like, "We have to leave now." And I was like, "Is everything okay?" She's like, "Yeah, but we have to leave." And I was like, "Okay, let's go."
And that was
all.
odd.
Something was wrong.
Yeah.
And Paulyne, between the two of us, is more,
I'm more of a party person, yeah. But Sophia is the one who did it for the both of us. That's my conclusion, because she's the one who just told him, like, "Listen,
it's for all of us."
Yeah, we are done. And I said, "Fantastic." That's it. Yeah.
For me, it was Sophia, yes, but I also think Mom and Dad did it for me, because Mom and Dad just took all the communication upon themselves. They're just like, if it needs to happen, let it be through us. Yeah, so yeah, but also I think, unlike you, they didn't actually like me.
No,
So it was very easy for them to be like, so the party was just clean.
That's another red flag, though. I think as you were growing older, I started realizing that it seemed like you were a bother to them, and they would show it in their actions, like the way they would treat you. It was bullying in like small ways, but also big ways.
A child.
Exactly. And the age difference between you two is so big, which I think would shock me so much, like why they would feel the need to treat you that way. But
yeah. Well, mine was a very slow, long process.
I think
there was a lot
mine.
of back and forth,
between you and them.
Yeah, like, maybe let me hear them out. Maybe there's another side to the story.
Yeah. But it's
and
complex.
Then I realized it was the same thing over and over. Like, people don't know how to apologize.
Yeah.
Because I got to a point where I was like, "Listen, this and this and this is what you've done wrong. I feel like you've breached my sense of trust in you. All this. And initially, they gave a great apology. And then they started, so will you forgive me? I'm like, bruh, can you take a seat first, relax, give it time. I was like, what we need is time and distance. And we were gonna get it anyway, because we're all going our own separate ways. They're like, no, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? Let's hug it out. Like, are we gonna hug out abuse?
No.
So it was, and even after that, we had another conversation, and then they started doing this thing of, instead of apologizing or whatever, they'd come and like throw a bombshell at you, like, okay, by the way, did you know I'm getting married? Okay.
So now,
where has that come into the conversation? But for me, I think because, like I said, I didn't have any direct experiences with them. It was hard to merge what I knew and what I've experienced.
Yeah. But it's so funny, because I feel like once I opened up about what happened to me, it's like so many incidences came up, because there were so many different incidences with different friends of ours as well. So someone tells you like, they were very inappropriate with me on this day.
Or with my friend.
Yeah, maybe they touched me like this, or they were trying to get me drunk so that, they can take me home, or let's say we were in the same house and they were trying to come and sleep with me in my room. So it became, like, I think it just became harder to excuse or ignore. Yeah, like at some point you realize this is exactly who this person is. This is not a mistake. This is
it's real.
Intentional actions, exactly. So,
but isn't that normally the case with abuse?
Exactly,
yes.
It
I
is
think
intentional.
once you talk about it, I think there's so much shame.
Yeah,
because you're like, what could I have done better? There's always the why me, you know, what is it about me? So there's so much shame.
Yeah.
But once you talk about it,
the jig is up.
Make the next one.
Okay. How did this relationship affect your mental or physical well-being?
Do you want to go first?
Yes, I'll start. I just became more snappish, like
I remember
my
that you
temper
did become,
shorter.
Oh, that was the
I
reason.
get upset more. Yes.
Oh no. I thought you were just being moody.
No.
Exactly.
Because of the number of people present, it was really important that we split chores.
Present, we're at home.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's a point I reached where I really tried to move my chore away from the time this person will be doing their chores. Or I'd try to take as many chores as possible just to avoid them having to be in that space, because it's like I don't want you there. Yeah. And things I used to enjoy just became not so enjoyable, because now you're there, you're trying to needle me. Like, just leave me alone, please. Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember also responding with competition, let's call it, because especially when it came to the thing for wanting to finish all the food for everyone.
You were like,
I was like, I can do that as well, so watch yourself. Yeah. Which was not good at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But looking back, that's not normal.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Okay.
Yeah. But and then also the loss of trust.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It was so disappointing because initially in my mind I'm like, these people around me seem okay with this person. Why is it that?
As in us, or who do you mean?
Yeah, initially everyone, and then like, you know, you people were having these conversations, hush, I must say.
Oh yeah, but it's because you're the you're
So-
the youngest, like, among us, so there tends, it's almost to shelter you to some extent.
But when I observed you people pulling away more, and your reaction to the way he handled the news of that person's passing, I just felt more validated. Like, you know, yeah, like, at least I'm not the only one seeing these traits. And there's that time I asked somebody at home, you know, I just get the feeling that this person is a liar. Like, not even a liar of you're just telling a complete lie, half-truths, omissions, twisting narratives. And those are way harder to pinpoint. But they were just like, yeah, you're not wrong. And that was that. I was just like, wow, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you wish you spoke to you more?
felt sort of bad being out of the loop, but considering I could deduce most of what was going on, I was just like, when they want to talk, they'll talk, because eventually you guys always tell me what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, so that one was just like whenever it will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the question?
How did this relationship affect your mental or physical well-being?
I think I just became very distrusting of a lot of people. Which is not
As
fun.
a result of this one person?
Yeah, because you're like, if I trusted you this much and then like everything
Fell apart.
or like I don't want to say everything was a lie, but a lot of it was a lie. Like who's not lying to me now? But also I think just trying to marry what I thought versus what is a lot. It's a lot. And there are times, okay, not anymore, but there'd be times where I'd be like, oh my God, because like we had so many common interests. I'm like, I can talk to this person about this, and I'm like, actually, maybe not. So it was just a lot of distrust primarily, I think.
Yeah. I think for me, especially that period we were living together, that was very, very hard for me because, like I said, after the incident that happened, I was now completely afraid of this person. And during that period, they would come home drunk a lot, and that would freak me out even more. So I realized I would be locking myself up in my room a lot. And I'm a people's person. No, I like being around people.
Yeah.
It gives me energy and comfort. And the fact that now I felt like I couldn't be around all of you, I had to like isolate myself in the room. That was really hard for me. And there was a point I realized like I was just slipping into some depression. I think at that time I even like started regular therapy again. I was just sleeping, like no. And I think eventually I realized like this is not healthy for me at all because I was barely spending time outside of my room unless I'm coming to eat or do like my chores. Exactly, I'm out. Like I just go and I go. And eventually, I think at some point eventually I even told Dad like, you have to talk to this person or I am moving out. I'll just go stay somewhere else until somewhere where I feel safe because I can't stay here. So that was the biggest thing for me. It was just terrible. Then I also just a general lack of safety and distrust, not just in them, but in so many people as well. Like you start questioning everybody. Yeah, it's like you're questioning your reality because this was your reality. Then all of a sudden you realize all this was a lie. So it's like, and you're questioning like every single thing. Okay, when we did this, was this real? Was this like true? Did they said this? Was it real? Was it like true? And that for me was hard because I'm a very trusting person. I really trust people, and until you give me a reason to not trust you, I'm very trusting. So that was difficult, but that's what happened for me. There's a follow-up.
Yes. How did you see this relationship affecting each other's well-being? Yeah.
Well, now I know you were snappy because of that. I really thought you were just going through something.
Oh, no.
Well, you were going through something,
Yes.
but I didn't know this is what it was.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of hindsight again, because you can pinpoint change in behavior, but now you're like, okay, this is why this was happening.
Yeah.
Like you are snappish because of this. You are spending time in your room because of that.
Exactly. But at that point, it's a bit difficult to see it for what it is.
I think something I also really saw was just your discomfort around this person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paulyne. Yeah.
And the feeling was like I want to tell them to leave you alone, but I don't know, like what I'm saying, like what can I say about what I'm saying? This person is simply talking to you, like I don't know what to even say, where to even start, if that makes sense.
It was so strange.
I think I saw the discomfort. My thing was, I do not leave them alone.
Yeah.
I'd never leave the two of them alone together, ever.
I used to
either get
withdraw a
someone
lot.
else to come to the, like, if I wanted to leave, I'd get someone else to come.
Or we'd go together.
Yeah, or I'd be like, Paulyne, it's time to
Time
go.
to go.
I don't care what you're doing, let's go.
But I'd really withdraw anytime we're in the same space. If dad is there, I'll go sit closer to dad. And literally like closer. Closer to dad. Or maybe I move closer to one of you guys, or I just
Go
leave.
to your room.
But it was so difficult because then they would be seeking me out. Which for me, like, no.
So yeah.
Because at times I'd even tell them, like, could you please just give me some space? And they don't want to do that or to leave me alone. Or when I tell them I don't want to hug you, but they're insisting on hugging. I really used to panic. Guys, I used to panic. Like I was in panic mode. It's like I felt like I wanted to lock myself up in a room and just, to the point where even in our own home, I can't sleep without the door locked because I'm like, what's going to happen? No. Will this person come in and do something to me? Which is a terrible space to be in when you've trusted somebody for so long and they were a safe space, and now
They aren't.
yeah. Well, am I next? It's you.
I think this should be the last card.
Okay. Did you ever feel safe around them? Did you trust them?
Initially, yes.
Did you have a before and after? I wonder for you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I know that literally the moment I entered pre-unit, that's when I started distrusting them.
That's so
Pre-unit, that was a long time ago.
Yes. Because, I never used to ask myself why, but thinking back, there's a certain name I used to be called in the house. And no one would call me that outside of the house.
Yeah. And you were not comfortable being
there's a
called
lot
that.
of intimacy in who can call you what.
Yeah.
So, and I remember very clearly asking this person, can you not call me this?
I think you asked
like
all of us.
around, my teachers and my classmates, whatever. The rest of you are so quick on the uptake, like even now you still ask. And for this person, that's when they'd call me either name, but the moment I asked, they stopped calling me the name for everyone else, and now just started calling me by the house name. And it's like,
and that was the thing about them. They wouldn't. It's like when you're uncomfortable about something, now they go out of their way to make sure to do that thing that you're uncomfortable with.
Also, something that made me really uncomfortable, they used to hit on one of my teachers.
I remember this. I remember this.
Really, I was like 6. I don't understand. I didn't really understand the discomfort of, like, I wish it's mom or dad coming to pick me and not this person. But then they'd come and like it was so awkward because now, like, of course the teacher feels like this person will treat me with favor if I treat the person they are related to with favor, which was terrible. Yeah. So that's when I started losing trust, thinking back on it, and then slowly, other things,
It's just something you can lose all at once.
Yes.
I think you can.
Okay,
in some
well,
instances.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. I think for me it was just...
It was slowly, yeah. I mean, for me, it was definitely... I used to feel safe around them until that incident. For me, that was the end.
Yeah.
Like everything, all the safety now just
Evaporated.
just went, yeah. And then after that, even the trust ended there. Like that was the end for me. And then the more you discovered about them, the more you realized, like, yeah, they were just a liar all round. Like there were so many things they lied about. And then now talking to other people, you realize how deep their deception was. So yeah.
Is there a follow-up?
No, that was it.
Okay then. You see that one should be last?
I think so.
Okay then. What helped you feel validated whenever, in brackets, if ever, you shared your experience in this relationship? Shall I start?
Sure.
Back then, it was observing you guys' distrust. Okay, like most recently, it was you guys pulling away, and even like the boundaries that mom and dad drew. But then, the one that really sticks with me is that there's someone else who, when I was still in Punit, they already didn't like this person.
Which is so interesting because they've known each other for a long time.
Yeah. I think one thing I've learned more and more about her is that even when she doesn't have the words for it, she's so quick to pick up on a person's vibe. So quick.
But you know what I think it is? They didn't feel the need to pretend around her. Because we've already said that they look down on other people.
Yeah.
They're already looking down on her.
So she
So
got
like, what does your opinion matter?
And even when now they were staying with us at home, it was just like that was the one person I'd talk to, like in frank terms. I'm just like, I don't know what to say, but I know I have to say something. And I just felt like this person understands what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And it was really powerful. Yeah.
You know what I'll say? I think maybe, I don't think you may have realized it, but Sophia and I, behind the scenes, were really fighting battles for you. So like, we know, like sometimes we'd pick up on like how he was treating you and whatever, and we'd confront him, like, pardon? Oh, we'd confront them about it, like, a lot. Well, until the point when I started getting scared of them, then Sophia took the lead.
Yes.
Yeah. I just took a step back, several steps back.
Yes.
Yeah. I think for me, what is it? What made me feel validated?
Yes.
One was, so I think the first incident was when the incident happened with this person. The first person I spoke to about it is someone, we were really good friends at the time, like really, really good friends. And I remember telling him like this happened, and yeah, just his response and his support was very validating for me and very comforting. To date, I'm still so grateful for that, because I think that now is what gave me the courage to tell Sophia about it. And I think part of me not telling Sophia was because I knew the kind of relationship they had with this person, and I was just like, no, I'm gonna ruin that. You know, like that was part of my thought process. But also I just didn't know how to talk about it, because I was like, no, why did they do that to me? You know, there were so many other people, they could have done it to anybody else, but why me? No. But yeah, so that was the first one. Then talking to Sophia also. One thing about Sophia, she'll be on my side. Like, she's ready. She's just like, who did what? Like, no, we're not doing that here. So that was very validating as well. Then my therapist, And I remember at the time, eventually when I spoke, because all of this was like maybe the first person I told Sophia like 1 year later, then my therapist another year later. So you can imagine, like, it's taking time. And my therapist at some point just told me, like, you don't have to protect somebody who has abused you, like, And she's like, it's valid for you to feel a certain way and to feel like you want to distance yourself and cut yourself off. I mean, cut yourself, yeah? Cut them. cut them off.
Yeah.
Which was very validating as well, because I felt guilty. I was like, it's all very confusing when something like that happens. And I think also that one time when I told him I'm very uncomfortable and you need to talk to this person, he didn't even know what exactly is going on, but he had my back. He's like, cool. He spoke to them and made sure certain measures were put in place. And even mom, even she didn't know the full story at the time, but she also put measures in place and all of that. But it's just been different people along the line. But I feel also when now I started speaking about what happened and other people were like, oh my gosh, me too, that also really, really validated. I feel like I'm going to start crying. That really validated me. I'm not going to cry. We're not doing that here. Not today.
I could take your hand, but
that was it for me, I guess. Yeah.
What was the question?
What helped you feel validated?
Question forgetter.
I don't even know if there was anything for me to feel validated about.
You were dishing the validation.
I think
that's what Sophia was doing. She was giving. You get validation. You get validation. Everybody.
Validation for you.
No, for this though, I think I was just taking my cues from other people. Like Paulyne said this, and I was like, okay, boundaries in place. We're adjusting our entire, like how we're looking at this situation. Then I see how you're being treated, and I'm like, okay, more boundaries. Let's build a wall. Just laying bricks. But I think having like mom and dad just having our backs. Because I remember there's a time me and Paulyne were like, listen, we don't want to talk to this person anymore. If you want to talk to them directly. Don't tell them anything, like just leave us out of anything to do with them. And without questioning, they were like, cool. Yeah. I think that's really comforting. Yeah. My question?
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll also say I got validation from our dog Bella. Because I feel like I feel like Bella can read vibes. Bella just knows, and at some point she was not very friendly with this person. So shout out to Bella.
Shout out to Bella.
Okay. Final question.
Should have put her photo over there.
Bella.
Okay. What advice would you give to a good friend in the same position you were? Paulyne?
Okay, question about same position. Do you mean a position where you know that they get the same support?
I just take it how you want.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay then. The first thing I'd tell them is to take the scissors and cut the person off. Snip, as we say. Because, I like literature. I'm going to use an analogy, a metaphor, whatever. When you drive like a nail coated in poison into a tree, maybe the tree will keep growing, but there's certain things it won't be able to do. Maybe it won't be able to flower or fruit. And like, there's no question about whether or not you can continue growing in spaces with certain people. It's just about they can be for or against your growth or non-factors. And the thing is, how can you start fully healing when you're out of that, when you're not out of that situation. So the first thing I'd say is cut them off, whether it means that if it's maybe a business relationship, you completely remove the personal aspect of that relationship from it, or you just stop communicating, using somebody to communicate to them, stuff like that. It just helps, because once you realize what's going on, you can't unrealize it. So I'd say cut them off, and also really lean into your support system and the people you trust most to help you if you need help.
I think for me the major one would be leaning into people you trust, because that's the only way you sort of get a different perspective, and that's, I think, the one way you get validation. So, maybe it's very easy to, what happens is maybe an instance of abuse will happen and your mind will be excusing it, especially depending on the kind of relationship you have with someone. You'll be making excuses, or, maybe you're in denial, blaming yourself. But the minute you talk to somebody else about it, someone you trust, who is of reason, that validation starts coming through, and that will be of great help. So even if I could go back in time and talk to myself, I'd be like, talk to someone. Just tell someone. You don't have to keep it to yourself. And I think also when you tell people, the burden stops being so heavy. Because when you stay silent, something crushes you. It's not healthy. It crushes you, it poisons you. You carry so much shame and fear and all of that. But I think it's important to talk to someone. Then also trust your intuition. Seriously,
I think so too.
Trust your intuition. If you feel like things are off, take a step back. You don't have to cut somebody off immediately, but take a step back, observe, and just really listen to yourself. And I am a huge believer in, if someone or something is not good to you, you'll feel it. And you need to start listening to that. Your mind tends to excuse things and make up stories, but your body, your spirit, those ones don't lie. They do not. So really listen to yourself, and you'll find your way.
I think a lot of, like you've said, talking to people you trust, because we've talked about how we were shielding him, so he's feeling like he's the only one seeing, getting this bad vibe, but we're all getting it. So just talking to people you trust, because I think other people can offer a fresh perspective on something, and even if they can't, it always helps to bounce your ideas on other people or what you're seeing. And the other thing is, I think, just paying attention, because people will show you who they are. Their words may be different, and maybe the way they act to you may be different. But if you claim you care about people, but the way you're treating the watchman is trash, just people will show you who they are one way or another eventually. And time and distance can really help. I think forgiveness and healing and all that can come, but first you have to give it time and distance to figure out if, because forgiveness doesn't always mean, we'll go back to the way we were, we're gonna be buddy,
or you'll be in my life anyway.
It can just be, I've made peace with this and how it was. I don't wish you anything bad, but you stay over there in your corner, and me, I'll stay over here in my corner.
Would you say you've forgiven them? Do you have anything to forgive? Do you feel?
Maybe start with her.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd say I've forgiven. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I just try not to think about them. I'm a believer in out of sight,
Out of mind.
out of mind.
Yeah.
So I don't. Maybe that's a question for therapy.
Yeah. For me, sometimes I'll remember things and my mind is like, but did you ever consider this? And then before it make me so angry, but now I really laugh when I remember certain things that are happening because it's so terrible, it's funny. Like, is this a real person? Is this a caricature of a person? You get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, it's not forgiveness per se, but I think just the fact that now I don't feel angry all the time, every time I think of this person. It's just a step.
I think that's it for me. I think I've accepted. I'm like, listen, this is how this person is, and this is what happened, and I've made peace with that. Forgiving the action is another story, but okay. And you?
Yes.
I think I forgive very quickly. Sometimes I even wonder, like,
Well, that's a good thing.
I tend to forgive
We
very
have balance.
quickly.
We'll handle the rest.
So I forgive them. I did. A long time ago, I forgive them. Sometimes I just think about their actions and I'm like, that's interesting. But
It is.
that's it. But forgiving, I did. I made peace with it and I forgive. There's still like some fear when it comes to them, but I don't have any bad blood. I think I just got to the point where I'm like, this is who this person is. So, it is what it is.
Because we've been out of each other's lives for like a while now.
Yeah.
And I know we'll meet again, like, whether we want to or not. I'm always like, how will that go?
How will that go?
Anyway, we'll stay tuned and find out.
We'll stay tuned and find out.
Next episode.
That was nice. Thank you.
Thank you too.
I've enjoyed the conversation.
I too have.
How are you feeling
didn't
now?
cry.
No, I didn't cry.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll cry after. How are you feeling now?
I'm just feeling like, wow. Now I have so many more stories to tell you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just.
Well, stay tuned.
Yeah.
How are you
stay
feeling?
tuned.
Okay, I think it was cathartic.
Okay.
I'm also feeling unburdened.
Okay.
Like father.
It's like,
Yeah. Okay, cool.
how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thank you. I'm happy to have you guys on. So, thanks. So, that's a wrap, guys.
So thank you.